Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott Wave update for Blur. I feel like I need to update this one because it looks like Bitcoin could be making that flash crash for its C wave. If you haven't watched my Bitcoin video, I suggest watching it because I see the possibility that we get quite a fast move down in the alts to the downside before we actually recover. And evidence is there that we need that move on Blur. Now I have a few different counts on this one. The first one is a 1-2, 1-2. Which is either complete, and we need to hold this level around 6 cents and start impulsing to the upside, or we need to make a larger correction for this wave 2, second wave 1-2, at around 51.75 and 56.71. That's between the 50 and the 618 of this move as a diagonal. And in time, that would take us to between March 24th and April 12th. And that is my bias currently, that we're going to get that move to the downside. You can see we're below the pitchfork, which is a very bad sign. The only way it would hold is if we're on a shift pitchfork and we continue right now. And I will say shift pitchforks are kind of rare. I would only switch to that if we actually hold here. Now, alternatively, if we're actually in a large 1-2, this wave 2 can move over, and this actually all becomes a running flat. Diagonals can very easily be relabeled as WXYs. That's why diagonals are a little bit tough to lean into as a count. You have to more rely on fib levels at that point. And if we get the C wave down, and this ends up making some sort of diagonal in 3 waves, right? That would take us to the 1-to-1, which I have in green there at 46.93 cents. And that's where I would look for a trade setup, protect this A wave as a running flat, and open my long from there. So we're kind of at a very big decision point. It kind of all depends on what Bitcoin does here. It's going to pull everything down, right? So we'll see what happens here. If we get this wave 2 lower and we have to go against time guidelines and we get an extended wave 2, or we stay with guidelines and it's a 1-2, 1-2, and we either hold from here or extend out a little bit in time over here in the diagonal wave 1 and 2 scenario. So just wanted to give you that scenario, be over here. And if you are in this and you want to let it run, this is just what I would do. So it looks like a potential diagonal, all just potential, nothing has to do this. We only have 3 waves down. It can easily turn into diagonal to the downside, like I mentioned. As we would expect this to be, again, some sort of running flat, right? And we're kind of running out of time here. It looks like it's past the 1-to-1 in time. Yep. So not a big fan of that. I'm actually bearish at the moment on Blur down to those areas between 51.75 and 56.71. And if we go past that, I would call this a C wave or a Y wave down to 46.93. So those are the areas, the zones I'd be interested in if this fails. And if you are holding on, you want to just let it run. Your decision, not mine, is I'd pull from the low to the high, and I'd put my stop probably around 6 cents, just past the 618, where this is not following guidelines as a impulse anymore. So line of the sand is kind of just past that 618, because it's a long drop. I wouldn't want to be hanging on to it past that level. We're talking if we hit that 1-to-1, that's a 30% drop, right? That's a big drawdown. So either we hold from here, or we're getting either that wave 2 to complete or the C wave. I would actually prefer the C wave play out, because then I can readjust my whole pitchfork and the guidelines all make sense again. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.